players gave honest, reflective answers to the questions with the ability to give some highlights, focus on what went well this season, and also recognize that there is great room for improvement.
Kamal, obviously not the way the season wanted to end. Ned and Phil were both kind of saying how the squad kind of hit a wall. Did you feel that in the last month of the season, and in total, how would you assess your first year in Portland?
I don't want to say quite hit a wall because we were still creating a lot of chances and playing some good soccer in the last couple games, but it's evident during the year that goal scoring was our main commodity and what got us a lot of results as a team this year. And in the last couple of games when we didn't score, I guess that's kind of natural just to say we hit a wall. Statistically, it's a fact. But overall, we still put out a lot of good soccer there. And yeah, for me personally, my first year as a Timber, it was a lot of ups and downs throughout the year. Not a lot of consistency in my position, and overall underwhelmed, and feel like I underachieved as a defender this year, not really solidifying the back line as much as I thought I would. But that's normal in football. Take the highs and the lows and go from there.
Hey, Kamal, could you, how did Evander's tweets go over among the team the other night?
I don't have a chance to speak to the guys about it. Everything is so fresh. Obviously, Evander, incredible talent, and plays with so much pride and passion. And the game is so filled with emotions. So it was probably impulsive. I'm sure he'd probably want to take it back, as he loves Portland so much and loves the club so much. I don't think he really wanted to offend anyone. It's just been a long year, and how well we were playing, I think as a group we were just all really frustrated and feel like we came up short. So things could have been said that we don't really mean and doesn't really reflect how the year went. So it is what it is. Just gotta move on now.
Anyone else? Mm-hmm.
Kamal, you talked about goal scoring being the main commodity for the team this year. Going into next year, what has to change to maybe balance the scales in terms of conceding less goals?
I think just a total mentality shift as a team. I think the league is progressing and all the teams are investing in good attackers, and it takes a lot to get a clean sheet nowadays. There's not many teams that can go out there and get a number of them. It's becoming harder and harder. So I think just as a unit, we just got to learn how to defend with all 11 guys and change that mentality and learn how to win games ugly. Most of our wins came when we're scoring a lot of goals. Pretty soccer, we didn't really have too many 2-1 wins or 1-0 wins where that's what the good teams do, even when it's not your day, when all the passes aren't hitting, when you're not finding the net, good teams still find a way to get the job done. So I think that's the next step for our group, is learning how to win ugly, I'd call it. And yeah, if we got 2-3 of those ugly wins during the year, we wouldn't be in this position, and we'd be looking to maybe even host the playoff game. So it's a bitter feeling, and yeah, only up. We can only improve on it.
Hey, Kamal. Ned mentioned some of the changes that are getting made up front end. One of those being mental health providers, kind of focusing on player well-being from the mental perspective. As you guys go through this off season and kind of think about next year, can you kind of talk about some of that mental health challenges, what you are going to be working on yourselves collectively as a group, maybe taking this loss together and using that as momentum in the future?
Yeah, I think what you said is perfect. Like I said earlier, we're all so passionate and emotional, and it's a heavy jersey to wear, the Timbers jersey. We know what the fans expect. We know that the club strives for greatness. So when we come across results like that and just losing in general, it's always very heavy. So the addition of a mental health coach could be good for a lot of guys to learn how to have more of a short-term memory and not let things carry over. That could have been one of the cases where we haven't scored in a while and kind of just lingering over into games and just kind of that feeling over our head, that cloud. So yeah, during the off season, I think it's a great opportunity for everyone to recharge. And now that we got that bitter feeling as a group with losing at home like that, I think it's great fuel for everyone to come back stronger and more clear. And yeah, you gotta lose to win. As it is. So yeah, we'll take the loss on the chin, although it's very hard still. But overall, I think that everyone will come back stronger.
I'm just curious, what does the off season look for you, just in terms of, do you take some time off now? Do you have like a focus in terms of like what you want to improve on? Just, I'm not familiar with how the MLS off season works. I'm just curious, like when do you start kind of getting into what's next for you?
It's a pretty long off season for us, longer than expected. We would have liked a much shorter one, playing into December. You know, that was the plan. Didn't quite go our way this time, so we do have a lot of time. I think it's important for guys just to completely tune out and shut down their bodies for a few weeks. It's been a long year. A lot of travel, highs and lows. Not only physically but mentally. We were in a lot of close, nail-biting games, so I think it's just a great opportunity for everyone to refocus and reset. Myself personally, there's still opportunity for me to represent Canada. There's a camp coming up in November, so me personally, I have to keep going and stay fit and stay sharp. Hopefully I get that call, and yeah, after that, just personally for me, work on a bit more distribution and attacking the ball better in the air. I think those are two areas of my game that I really want to close, so I'll be focused on that during the offseason.
Kamal, you've been part of the great backline. In Montreal, you were an all-star. You won Leagues Cup with Miami last year. What did the great backlines you've played in the past, whether in MLS or at international level, have that maybe this year in Portland didn't have?
Tough question to put my finger on. I think individually we have so many talented players on this Timbers backline, and sometimes that's a blessing and a curse. I think we put out so many different backlines. It was kind of tough to gel together, but I think pound for pound, just all of our defenders, if you look at other rosters, we have a very, very strong core group of defenders, which is amazing. But I believe we have to kind of find our niche and what works and lock in with a certain group of guys, and that's how you end up getting those clean sheets. And late in the year, you know the guys left and right to you like the back of your hand. So I think that's very important, is finding what works for us and sticking to it and living and dying by it. But other than that, just the basics, communication and reps every day and working hard. And luck is a part of it too. I think we've had a lot of deflections and unlucky goals this year. So hopefully next year we're due for a much better season where the ball bounces our way a lot more and we can get that consistency and confidence out of the back line.
We'll take one last question online. Sam Sviller.
Hey, Kamal.
Hey.
Phil Neville has been in a couple of press conferences, particularly late in this season, in talking about the team's poor performances and saying that he's felt that some players have maybe given up on the team. He cited after Wednesday certain players that maybe weren't showing the effort, and maybe like sprinting is hard. I'd love to hear your insight into kind of how the locker room is feeling, how you're feeling, as kind of this season kind of started to, kind of slip a little bit towards the end of the season, and if you feel that it's kind of reflected a lot of kind of what coaches shared. Thanks.
Yeah, it's tough because I think right around our final loss of the season and the dip of form towards the end of the season, I think that's when our locker room was the strongest. I think the past couple weeks or months we've had the most, I'd say like fun and bonding as a team, and during training the vibes are really high, and we go into games very confident as a team, and yeah, I guess that's just the way the story was written for us. I don't know really what to say on that. I don't feel like it was a lack of effort from anyone. Obviously it's visual, there was frustration with the ball not going in the net and feeling like we were just so close but couldn't get the results, so that's obviously frustrating. But I think everyone who pulled on the jersey always gave their all and was loyal to the badge and respected the fans and how much effort you have to put when you play for a club like this. So yeah, that's the disappointing part of it, is it felt like we were finally fully bonding and meshing as a team. The vibes in the locker room were amazing, and yeah, that last result is the furthest outcome we predicted. We felt like we prepared well for the game and everything was going to fall into place, but it just wasn't meant to be that way. So hopefully next year we can learn from these mistakes and come back stronger.
To be a disappointing end to the year for the team, but a very good year for you personally. Just talk us through what it was like coming back from your torn ACL and then taking over a starting spot midway through the season.
David, si puedes hablarnos un poquito de personalmente tu temporada, cómo te sentiste, y también de la lesión que tuviste y cómo te sientes ahora con eso.
No, en lo personal me siento muy contento por haber superado una lesión bastante grave que me llevó todo el año pasado, así que por ese lado estoy contento porque pude jugar muchos partidos. Estoy contento con la confianza que me dio el cuerpo técnico, mis compañeros, así que nada, en lo personal estoy contento, pero también muy decepcionado por el resultado del equipo del último partido, de cómo nos fue en la temporada, que nos quedamos en las puertas de los Play Offs, así que muy triste por eso y con ganas de revancha ya el año que viene.
Yeah, personally, I feel happy that I was able to overcome the injury. It took all of last year, so I'm just personally very happy to be able to have played a lot of games, and I felt a lot of confidence from the coaching staff and my teammates that they gave me that made me really happy. And aside from that, obviously very disappointed about the results. The plan didn't go how we wanted, but I'm already very hungry about next season.
Congratulations on such a great year of improvement. It was really fun watching you play and develop. You played a lot with Diego Chara. He is up for contract extension, and I was hoping you could just kind of talk to us a little bit about what it was like learning and playing with Diego.
Primero que nada, felicidades por el año que tuviste. Fue muy divertido verte en la cancha. Jugaste mucho con Diego Chara y nos dijeron que va a renovar contrato, entonces quería saber para ti qué has aprendido de Diego Chara y de jugar tantos minutos a su lado.
Bueno, primero muchas gracias. Contento de que Diego siga un año más, de que haya renovado, porque es muy importante para nosotros, para el club. Es una leyenda de este club, es el capitán, todos lo vemos así, es el líder del equipo, así que muy feliz y sí, aprendí muchas cosas de él. Es un gran jugador, un gran compañero, entonces es de los primeros en llegar siempre, el que siempre está en el gimnasio, entonces como que uno aprende esas cosas, las trata de tomar y nada, contento porque es muy importante para nosotros él y seguramente también debe tener muchas ganas de volver el año que viene y revertir esta situación.
First of all, thank you. I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that he's going to be here. He's obviously a legend of the club and our personal team leader and captain, so I'm personally very happy that he's staying. He's a great teammate, great person, and always the first one to come in every day, always at the gym, and so I try to always take those things from him. And just excited that we're going to be able to try again next year and hopefully do something big for him as well.
David, felicidades, gran año. ¿Qué aprendiste, una cosa en específico que aprendiste en este año que tal vez podrás utilizar en la siguiente temporada? Y también, ¿cómo puedes describir cómo fueron esos momentos cuando ustedes llegaron al camerino el miércoles tras la derrota? Gracias.
Y bueno, para el año que viene siento que aprendí muchas cosas, no podría enumerarlas, pero venir de un año sin jugar y este año jugar mucho, es como que hay muchos cambios, pude tener muchos minutos, entonces como que me siento más confiado otra vez y estoy contento con eso. Y luego, no, fue muy triste la verdad, volver después del partido, muy decepcionados todos. Nunca creímos que podemos hacer un partido así, pero obviamente todos queremos revertir la situación otra vez. Seguramente todos tienen ganas de volver el año que viene porque la verdad fue un final muy triste para nosotros, para el año que tuvimos y nada, con ganas de volver el año que viene y tener una mejor posición en la tabla.
Question was, what did you learn that you will use for next season, and how can you describe those difficult moments in the locker room, especially after Wednesday's defeat? I learned a lot because I was able to play a ton this year. Like I said, last year my injury took the whole year and the whole season, and so honestly I think I just feel good and I feel like I'm back feeling like myself with confidence on the field. After the game, yeah, it was a very sad moment for the team in the locker room. We didn't plan on it going that way. I felt like we had a great year, and so it was just very sad and difficult to end it in that way, and we're just ready for next year at this point.
What did the national recognition mean to you? Obviously, you were a nominee for Young Player of the Year. You were one of the best midfielders across MLS through a whole. Does that matter to you? Do you like the recognition? Obviously, Phil spoke very highly of you as well.
¿Qué significa para ti poder ser nominado en cosas de la liga, como fue este año, y también cuando Phil dice cosas muy buenas de ti? ¿Qué significa para ti eso?
No, me llena de orgullo, me pone muy feliz que un técnico como Phil, un jugador con mucha trayectoria, hable bien de mí, entonces me pone muy contento escuchar esas palabras y también por haber sido nominado creo que para la vuelta del año por la lesión, también me puso muy contento porque sentí como que el esfuerzo de todo el año pasado se vio reflejado en eso y nada, contento.
Yeah, I think it fills me with pride. It makes me happy to hear that someone like Phil with his trajectory and experience says something like that about me, and also getting recognition from the league, especially like I said, overcoming that injury, it just makes me really happy that I was able to do that after a difficult moment like that.
On that, a new coaching hire for players is probably, it brings a lot of uncertainty, especially coming off an injury like you had. How much has Phil Neville's confidence in you allowed you to be yourself on the pitch and have the year that you did?
Tener un nuevo técnico del equipo muchas veces puede causar incertidumbre para jugadores, especialmente tú con una lesión. ¿Cómo fue para ti poder jugar con Phil y cuánta confianza sientes que te dio, especialmente después de haber tenido esa lesión?
No, la verdad muchísima porque, como dices, sí, es un gran cambio, más que yo estaba lesionado. Cuando se cambió el técnico, entonces era como que no sabía si iba a jugar o cómo iba a ir este año y después ver lo que pasó, que me empezó a poner y me empezó a dar la confianza y empezó a decir cosas buenas. Y me puso muy contento y eso hizo que me diera mucha confianza a mí mismo, obvio, como repito. Así que nada, contento y feliz por eso.
Yeah, I think he gave me so much confidence, and that was big for me. Like you said, I was injured and it was a big change, and so for me personally, I just didn't know if I was going to play or how much I was going to play, so getting his confidence and something that I tried to prove myself in training and work very hard was something that was very, very important for me and means a lot.
You had your best statistical season as a Timber this year. Coming off of the injuries that you've had in the last few years, what made it possible for you to perform at the level you did this year?
Felipe, tuviste la mejor temporada hablando de estadísticas y números con los Timbers y eso fue después de tener una lesión dura. Para ti, ¿cómo te sientes con eso? ¿Cómo te sientes con eso?
Sí, bueno, me siento muy contento en lo personal de haber hecho una buena cantidad de goles este año, ya que venía de 2 años con el tema de la lesión de mi rodilla, que no la pasé muy bien, la verdad. Y bueno, me había propuesto que este año iba a tratar de hacer las cosas bien, de tener continuidad, y creo que lo hice y estoy muy contento por haber vuelto de la lesión mucho mejor.
Yeah, I feel very happy personally to have been able to, for me, score a lot of goals this year, and after 2 years of having a really painful and frustrating knee injury this year, I'm just very happy with that, and for me, I just kind of focus on being able to have consistency throughout the season, so very happy that I was able to achieve that.
Felipe, you weren't the only guy putting up big numbers this season. Between you, Rodriguez, and Evander, can you talk a little bit about how that dynamic went, how the play between you developed over the season, and what you're looking towards improving on between the three of you next season?
Obviamente no fuiste el único que tuvo esos números, tuvieron números juntos tú, Jonathan y Evander. Para ti, ¿cómo fue poder jugar con esa dinámica con ellos en la cancha y cuáles son cosas que crees que pueden mejorar para la siguiente temporada?
Sí, como tú bien dices, creo que los tres tuvimos muy buenos números esta temporada, pero creo que al final nos faltó a lo mejor tener un poco más de constancia en los últimos partidos, que por ahí siempre intentamos, pero no pudimos lograr lo que queríamos, que era clasificar a playoff. Y bueno, y lo que queda para volver el otro año es mejorar lo que hicimos este año. Creo que con ellos se hace todo más fácil porque son grandísimos jugadores y creo que lo demostraron esta temporada. Entonces por ahí creo que va el tema.
Yeah, like you said, all three of us had really great numbers this season, unfortunately. But at the end, I think we lacked consistency in those last matches of the season, and we obviously wanted to do better in playoffs. And so I think next year we're going to just try to do better, and they honestly make it easy for me as well because they're such great players. So I think we're going to continue doing that.
Felipe, buenos días. En tu mejor momento en medio de la temporada, se notaba que estabas en tu mejor momento, gol tras gol tras gol. ¿Te dolió un poco al no enterarte que no estabas seleccionado por la selección chilena? ¿O cómo te sentiste cuando no llegó tu nombre a ser llamado?
Sí, bueno, yo como siempre quiero estar en la selección, creo que por números me merecía haber tenido al menos un llamado a la selección. Pero nada, me lo tomé con tranquilidad, sabía que estaba haciendo las cosas bien aquí en el club y nada, siempre me propuse seguir trabajando, seguir intentándolo y sabiendo que teniendo una buena temporada por ahí me podía llegar un llamado, pero como no me llegó, sigo trabajando y espero estar pronto en la selección.
Felipe, in your best moment of the season, or this season, did it frustrate you or hurt not being able to, or not getting a call from the Chile national team? I always want to be on the national team, of course. I think with my numbers, I think that I deserve to be called up at least once this season, but at the same time, I didn't get the call up and I still feel calm. For me, I just always continue to put my head down and keep working, and obviously hoping always to get that call. Anyone else? Adam?
Felipe, I want to go back to earlier in the season. There was obviously some questions about coming back from injury. When Jonathan Rodriguez came in, there was talks that he was going to be the striker and he was going to be the DP number 9. Obviously, you played well enough. How are you kind of humble enough to keep that relationship and keep your head focused through that situation?
Felipe, al principio de la temporada, cuando Jonathan se unió al equipo, dijeron que venía para ser el número 9. Para ti, ¿cómo fue tener esa relación con él? ¿Y qué tipo de dinámica tienen ustedes?
Bueno, cuando me enteré de que venía Jonathan, la verdad que me puse muy contento porque sabía que me iba a ayudar muchísimo acá en el club. Bueno, lo conocía de cuando estuve yo en México y también teníamos amigos en común allá, entonces sabía lo buen jugador que era y lo gran persona que es y sabía que iba a tener una competencia sana. Creo que nos pudimos llevar muy bien en la cancha y pudimos hacer muchos goles, que era lo que importaba.
Yeah, when I heard he was coming, I honestly got really happy because I knew he was going to help us a lot. And I knew about him from his time in Mexico and my time in Mexico. We have a lot of friends in common as well. So our relationship is honestly very healthy in competition, and we try to help each other as much as we can on the field and off the field as well. Tyson?
Felipe, the injury has been such a long part of your storyline for the last 2 years, from suffering it to rehabbing to coming back to the level of play you reached this season. I'm curious, going into an off season where that's behind you now, what's your goal for this off season now that that's kind of behind you? How do you approach an off season healthy?
Felipe, la lesión que has tenido ha sido una larga parte de tu historia, especialmente aquí. Ahorita que pudiste tener esa temporada y ya estás bien, ¿sientes que puedes dejar por fin esa parte de tu historia atrás y cómo vas a entrar a esta postemporada?
Sí, bueno, como te dije anteriormente, fue una etapa muy dura en mi carrera y más en este club porque venía de una temporada antes de la lesión muy buena. Pero como te dije, creo que esta temporada me hice una buena temporada ya que venía de la lesión. Y nada, creo que ya la dejé el pasado la lesión y me estoy enfocando en seguir haciendo las cosas bien. La verdad que la gente del club se ha portado muy bien conmigo, los fisios creo que fueron una parte fundamental en mi recuperación y creo que hicieron un muy buen trabajo y voy a estar siempre agradecido de ellos, así que nada, como te digo, la lesión ya quedó atrás y espero seguir haciendo las cosas bien.
Yeah, I think like I said before, it was a very hard stage of my life, and especially here because I had a very good season too. Before the injury, it made it harder. This season I feel great, and I'm going to leave that in the past like you said. And the people at the club here were fundamental in my recovery, and I'll always be thankful for them, or to them for that, and for now I'm just going to move forward.